The case of Darlie Routier is one of the most debated murder cases in modern American history. The brutal stabbing of her two young sons in their Rowlett, Texas, home on June 6, 1996, led to her conviction for murder. However, controversy still surrounds the case, with some believing she was wrongly convicted. Was Darlie a grieving mother wrongly accused, or was she a cold-blooded killer? On the night of June 6, 1996, 26-year-old Darlie Routier was sleeping in the living room of her upscale home with her two sons, Devin, 6, and Damon, 5, while her husband, Darren, slept upstairs with their infant son, Drake. Around 2:30 a.m., a 911 call was placed by Darlie, screaming that an intruder had broken in and attacked her and her sons. When police arrived, they found a horrific scene. Both Devin and Damon had been stabbed multiple times. Devin was already dead, while Damon was still alive but succumbed to his injuries before paramedics could save him. Darlie had also suffered injuries, including a deep cut on her neck, a cut on her arm, and other minor wounds. A bloody knife was found in the kitchen, and Darlie claimed she had seen a man fleeing through the garage. However, there was little physical evidence to suggest an intruder had been present. From the beginning, police were skeptical of Darlie's version of events. Several aspects of the crime scene did not align with an intruder attack. The murder weapon was a knife from the Routier-owned kitchen. There were no signs of forced entry. A window screen had been cut, but investigators believed it was staged. Blood spatter evidence suggested Darlie was standing over her children when they were attacked. Additionally, investigators noted that Darlie's wounds appeared superficial compared to the brutal injuries sustained by her sons, leading to suspicions that they were self-inflicted. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was the infamous silly string video. Days after the murders, Darlie was filmed at her son's gravesite during a birthday celebration for Devin. She sprayed silly string, laughed, and seemed jovial. Prosecutors later used this video in court to argue that she was unemotional and capable of murder. Darlie Routier was arrested on June 18, 1996, and charged with capital murder. Prosecutors argued that financial difficulties had driven her to kill her sons, claiming she resented the burden of raising them. The defense argued that she was a loving mother and that the real killer had escaped. The trial, held in Kerr County due to pretrial publicity, relied heavily on forensic evidence. The prosecution focused on bloodstain patterns that suggested Darlie had staged the crime scene. A bloodstain expert testified that her shirt had cast-off patterns consistent with stabbing motions. The defense countered that the police had mishandled evidence and rushed to judgment. They pointed to Darlie's injuries as evidence that she had been attacked. However, the jury was swayed by the prosecution's argument, and on February 4, 1997, Darlie was convicted of the murder of Damon Routier and sentenced to death. She was not tried for Devin's murder. Over the years, Darlie's case has been the subject of scrutiny. Her supporters argue that she was railroaded by a flawed investigation and that critical evidence was overlooked. Some of the key points of contention include: several independent forensic experts have questioned the validity of the bloodstain analysis used at trial. Some argue that certain patterns may have resulted from Darlie moving around the crime scene in a state of shock rather than staging the attack. While prosecutors played the footage of Darlie spraying silly string, they did not show the solemn moments before it, where she tearfully placed flowers and spoke lovingly about her sons. Advancements in forensic testing have led to renewed efforts to analyze crime scene evidence. Darlie's defense team has requested further DNA testing to potentially identify an unknown intruder. Darlie remains on death row in Texas, continuing to maintain her innocence. Her case has been the subject of numerous documentaries, books, and TV specials, with many calling for a re-examination of the evidence. As of now, she is still fighting for a new trial, with her supporters hoping that modern forensic science will provide the answers that have eluded investigators for decades. The case of Darlie Routier remains one of the most controversial murder cases in American history. While some see her as a cold-blooded killer, others believe she is a victim of a miscarriage of justice. With new forensic developments and continued scrutiny, the debate over Darlie's guilt or innocence is far from over.